Inflammation is often described as the silent fire in the body. For seniors, this fire tends to burn brighter with age, not because the body wants to harm itself, but because the immune system becomes less efficient at regulating inflammation. A small cut, a mild infection, or even the stress of daily living can spark inflammation. When you are younger, the body clears it quickly, but after 60, this process becomes sluggish, leaving behind lingering inflammation that damages tissues, muscles, joints, and even the brain. Chronic inflammation is not the same as the helpful, short-lived inflammation that happens when you cut your finger or fight off a cold. That type of inflammation is beneficial and necessary for healing. What many seniors struggle with is something different, something called inflammaging. This is a state where the body remains in a low-grade, simmering inflammatory state all the time, even when there is no clear injury or infection. Scientists now understand that this persistent inflammation is one of the strongest contributors to age-related decline, making conditions like arthritis, heart disease, diabetes, dementia, and even muscle loss more likely. The reason seniors are especially vulnerable is because the immune system itself changes with age. White blood cells become less effective, antioxidant defenses weaken, and damaged cells accumulate in tissues without being efficiently cleared away. All of this sends constant danger signals to the immune system, keeping inflammation switched on when it should be turned off. One of the most overlooked drivers of inflammation in seniors is hidden in the gut. Research shows that with age, the gut microbiome, the vast community of bacteria, fungi, and other microbes living inside the intestines, often becomes less diverse. Harmful strains can grow unchecked while beneficial strains decline. This imbalance allows tiny particles from food and bacteria to slip through a weakened intestinal wall into the bloodstream, a phenomenon sometimes called leaky gut. Once in circulation, these particles trigger an immune response, and the body reacts as though it is under attack. This cycle fuels inflammation not just in the digestive tract, but throughout the entire body. Seniors who experience constant bloating, joint pain, or fatigue often have this gut-driven inflammation as the hidden root cause. Hormones also play a powerful role in how inflammation develops in older adults. As estrogen and testosterone naturally decline, the body loses two hormones that previously had protective anti-inflammatory effects. Cortisol, the stress hormone, often becomes unbalanced as well, sometimes staying too high at night and too low during the day. This hormone imbalance can make it harder for seniors to turn off inflammatory processes once they begin. Add to this the fact that insulin sensitivity declines with age, leading to higher blood sugar levels, and you have a perfect recipe for inflammation to spread into blood vessels, nerves, and even the brain. This explains why seniors with poorly controlled blood sugar often experience accelerated joint stiffness, vision problems, and cognitive decline. Lifestyle factors act as either gasoline or water on this fire of inflammation. A sedentary lifestyle, processed food diets, poor sleep, chronic stress, and exposure to environmental toxins can all keep inflammation running. For seniors, sitting too long each day weakens circulation and slows the body's natural lymphatic drainage system, which is supposed to carry away waste and inflammatory molecules. Sleep disturbances, which become common after 60, further amplify inflammation, because deep sleep is the time when the brain and body perform most of their nightly repair work. Missing this essential window creates an environment where inflammatory chemicals like cytokines remain elevated. Stress also worsens the picture, because seniors under constant pressure release more stress hormones that suppress immunity and keep inflammatory cycles alive. The important truth here is that chronic inflammation is not inevitable with age. Even though it is common, by understanding the biological drivers, immune decline, gut imbalance, hormone changes, blood sugar instability, and lifestyle habits, seniors can begin to take back control. The body has remarkable resilience and the ability to quiet inflammation when given the right tools. In the next sections, we will explore proven science-backed strategies that seniors can use to reduce inflammation naturally, restore energy, protect the brain, and keep muscles and joints strong well into later decades of life. One of the most overlooked but powerful ways to reduce inflammation in seniors is to take care of the gut. Scientists now call the gut the second brain, because it communicates directly with the nervous system and even regulates immune function. What many people over 60 do not realize is that as we age, stomach acid levels decrease, digestive enzymes become less efficient, and the gut lining can weaken. This allows undigested food particles and bacterial toxins to slip through the intestinal barrier, creating what researchers refer to as leaky gut. Once this happens, the immune system is constantly activated, treating harmless food particles as if they were dangerous invaders. The result is chronic inflammation that does not stay in the gut. It travels to the joints, the brain, the muscles, and even the heart. Seniors who experience unexplained fatigue, joint pain, brain fog, or autoimmune flare-ups may actually be dealing with inflammation that began in their digestive tract. Fortunately, healing the gut is one of the most effective ways to turn off this inflammatory switch. The first step is to remove foods that damage the gut lining. Refined sugar, processed flour, and seed oils are some of the biggest offenders. They not only feed harmful bacteria, but also increase oxidative stress that erodes the intestinal wall. By replacing these with nutrient-rich foods, such as bone broth, leafy greens, and fermented vegetables, seniors can rebuild gut integrity and foster a healthier microbiome. Probiotic-rich foods like sauerkraut, kefir, and yogurt introduce beneficial bacteria, while prebiotic fibers from garlic, onions, and asparagus feed those bacteria so they thrive. Together, this creates an environment where the gut barrier strengthens and inflammation begins to calm down. Another crucial element is ensuring enough omega-3 fatty acids in the diet. Found in fatty fish like salmon and sardines, omega-3C have been shown in countless studies to lower inflammatory markers in the body. They also work to balance the ratio of omega-3S to omega-6S, which is often skewed in seniors who consume processed foods. When this balance is restored, the immune system becomes less reactive and tissues throughout the body feel relief. Omega-3s are especially valuable for the brain, reducing neuroinflammation that contributes to memory decline and mood disorders. Seniors who make this simple dietary shift often notice sharper thinking, lighter joints, and improved energy within weeks. Hydration also plays a surprisingly large role in gut health and inflammation. When seniors do not drink enough water, the mucus layer that protects the stomach lining becomes thinner, leaving tissues vulnerable to irritation and immune overactivation. Drinking mineral-rich water, herbal teas, or adding a pinch of sea salt to drinking water helps maintain electrolyte balance and supports the gut's protective lining. This small habit can be the difference between a body in constant low-level stress and one that rests in balance. Finally, stress management is key to gut healing. Chronic stress signals the body to release cortisol, a hormone that not only weakens the gut lining but also disrupts the balance of good bacteria. Seniors who engage in mindful breathing, light stretching, or even a quiet walk after meals see noticeable improvements in digestion and inflammation. The gut is highly responsive to calmness. When the nervous system relaxes, the gut heals faster and inflammation decreases more naturally. In summary, the gut is the control center for inflammation. By removing processed foods, adding probiotics and omega-3, staying hydrated, and managing stress, seniors can rebuild their gut health and dramatically lower the fire of inflammation. This is not just about preventing discomfort, it is about preserving muscle strength, protecting the brain, and allowing the entire body to age more gracefully. When the gut is healed, inflammation no longer controls the body. Instead, the body becomes resilient, energetic, and capable of supporting the activities that bring joy and independence in the later years of life. One of the most overlooked drivers of chronic inflammation, especially in seniors, is poor sleep and unmanaged stress. Sleep is not just rest, it is an active process in which your brain and body repair, detoxify, and regulate immune function. Studies show that adults over 60 who consistently sleep less than 6 hours a night have significantly higher levels of C-reactive protein, a biomarker of inflammation linked to heart disease and arthritis. When you are sleep deprived, your body releases more cortisol, a stress hormone that not only makes you feel wired, but also triggers inflammatory pathways. Imagine your immune system as a thermostat. When sleep is disrupted, the thermostat gets stuck on high, producing heat in the form of unnecessary inflammation. For seniors already facing joint pain, swelling, or fatigue, this excess inflammation makes symptoms worse. Quality sleep, on the other hand, helps reduce oxidative stress, balances blood sugar, and keeps inflammatory chemicals in check. This is why even 1 week of consistent deep sleep can lower inflammation more effectively than many medications. Stress is another hidden source of inflammation. Chronic stress increases cortisol and adrenaline levels, which suppress healthy immune responses while overstimulating inflammatory pathways. For example, when seniors are under constant emotional stress, such as caregiving pressures, financial worries, or loneliness, their bodies act as though they are under attack. This is called the inflammaging process, where chronic stress accelerates aging by keeping the immune system in a constant state of alert. Research shows that mindfulness practices like meditation, prayer, or even 5 minutes of deep breathing can reduce inflammatory markers in the blood. Simple daily rituals such as practicing gratitude, listening to calming music, or walking in nature activate the parasympathetic nervous system, also known as the rest and digest system, which directly lowers inflammation. It is fascinating that your thoughts, breathing patterns, and emotional state can physically change the inflammatory chemicals in your bloodstream within minutes. For seniors, practical tools to improve sleep and reduce stress can be life-changing. Creating a sleep-friendly environment is crucial. Keep the bedroom dark, cool, and quiet, and avoid bright screens at least 1 hour before bed. Consuming calming herbal teas, such as chamomile or valerian root, can also help regulate sleep cycles naturally. Gentle stretching or light yoga before bed helps relax stiff muscles and joints, reducing discomfort that could otherwise disturb sleep. When it comes to stress, seniors can benefit greatly from daily relaxation exercises. Slow diaphragmatic breathing, where you inhale deeply through your nose for 4 counts, hold for 4, and exhale through your mouth for 6. Signals the nervous system to release calming chemicals, lowering inflammation within 20 minutes. Another effective technique is progressive muscle relaxation, where you tense and release different muscle groups to calm both the body and the mind. Finally, social connection plays a powerful role in reducing stress-driven inflammation. Seniors who maintain strong social ties or participate in community activities have lower inflammatory markers than those who are socially isolated. Even short conversations with loved ones can reduce stress hormones and strengthen immune health. By combining quality sleep, stress management practices, and meaningful social interactions, seniors can significantly lower chronic inflammation. This not only protects against disease, but also restores energy, reduces joint pain, and improves overall quality of life. In other words, rest and emotional balance are as powerful as nutrition and exercise when it comes to fighting inflammation. After 60. Managing inflammation does not require drastic measures, but rather consistent daily practices that work with your biology. One of the most powerful tools is regular movement. Even gentle walking, stretching, or water-based exercises can increase blood flow, reduce stiffness, and help flush out inflammatory compounds from your tissues. This is why seniors who move daily tend to have better circulation, stronger muscles, and far fewer inflammatory-related conditions. Sleep is another pillar. Poor sleep raises cortisol and disrupts immune regulation, which leads to higher inflammation. Building a nighttime routine with dimmed lights, a cool room, and no screens before bed can greatly improve sleep quality and keep your inflammatory load low. Stress management also plays a direct role. Deep breathing, meditation, and even simple time in nature lower stress hormones that otherwise fuel inflammation. Finally, hydration should not be overlooked. Dehydration thickens the blood, slows detoxification, and makes the joints ache more, so ensuring enough clean water intake each day is essential. All of these daily habits stack together. They may seem simple, but when practiced consistently, they create an internal environment where inflammation cannot thrive. Seniors who commit to these practices not only reduce pain and disease risk, but also maintain independence and vitality well into their later decades of life. When we step back and look at the big picture, inflammation is both a danger and a signal. On one hand, it is the body's way of calling for help when there is an injury or infection. On the other, when it lingers for too long, it silently damages joints, weakens muscles, clouds memory, and accelerates aging. For seniors, understanding this dual role is the first step in taking control of health. You now know that inflammation is not only about pain or swelling, but about the deeper processes that can determine whether your later years are filled with energy and freedom or with limitation and struggle. This knowledge alone puts you in a position of power because you can now recognize the signs and begin to take action. For seniors, understanding this dual role is the first step in taking control of health. You now know that inflammation is not only about pain or swelling, but about the deeper processes that can determine whether your later years are filled with energy and freedom, or with limitation and struggle. This knowledge alone puts you in a position of power because you can now recognize the signs and begin to take action. The science is clear. Diet plays a huge role. Processed foods, refined sugars, and unhealthy oils are like fuel for the fire, while whole foods, healthy fats, and antioxidant-rich fruits and vegetables are like water that calms it. Every time you choose leafy greens, fatty fish, or olive oil over processed snacks, you are literally lowering your body's inflammatory load. Over time, those daily choices can mean the difference between stiff joints and flexible ones, between chronic disease and resilience. It is not about perfection, but about consistently leaning toward foods that heal instead of harm. Movement is another non-negotiable tool. Seniors who stay active send powerful signals to their nervous system and immune system, telling the body to circulate nutrients, remove waste, and strengthen tissue. This does not require hours in the gym or exhausting workouts. Even a 20-minute walk, some light resistance exercises, or water aerobics can dramatically reduce markers of inflammation. The beauty is that movement not only reduces inflammation, but also strengthens balance, coordination, and confidence, giving seniors more independence. Sleep and stress are often overlooked, yet they are as important as diet and exercise. Without quality sleep, the body cannot fully repair or regulate immune activity, and inflammation rises. Stress, especially when chronic, has the same effect by keeping cortisol high and overwhelming your body's natural repair systems. This is why learning to rest well, breathe deeply, and stay calm is not a luxury. It is a medical necessity for seniors who want to reduce inflammation. When sleep and stress are managed, the immune system resets, hormones stabilize, and inflammation is naturally brought back under control. Finally, daily habits create the foundation of your health. Staying hydrated, practicing relaxation techniques, and keeping your body in motion may seem simple, but these small acts performed every day are what keep inflammation from taking root. Imagine your health as a garden. If you water it, nurture it, and give it light, it flourishes. If neglected, weeds take over. The same principle applies to inflammation in the body. Consistency is the key. The most encouraging truth is that reducing inflammation does not require expensive treatments or complicated routines. It is about small, science-backed choices repeated daily, choosing an anti-inflammatory meal, taking a walk, resting well, and calming the mind. Each action builds on the other, and together, they create a body that feels lighter, stronger, and more alive. Seniors who embrace these steps are not just preventing disease, they are actively reclaiming their health and extending the quality of their years. So let this be the turning point. Do not wait for inflammation to dictate your future. Begin today with one choice: swap a processed food for a healing one, take a short walk, or prepare for a deeper night's sleep. These are not minor changes, they are the foundations of longevity. Your body is always ready to heal when you give it the right conditions. And when you consistently lower inflammation, you open the door to more freedom, less pain, and a brighter, healthier life in the years ahead. This is what experts call chronic low-grade inflammation, sometimes referred to as inflammaging. It is directly tied to arthritis, muscle weakness, poor balance, diabetes, memory decline, and even faster aging at the cellular level. The good news is that inflammation is not a destiny you must accept with age. Science shows that lifestyle changes, targeted nutrition, and simple daily practices can cool this silent fire, restoring energy, strength, and mental clarity. The body has natural systems designed to shut down inflammation, and when these systems are supported, seniors can feel stronger, think sharper, and move with less pain. Today, I will share with you 5 science-backed tools that are especially powerful for seniors. These are not complicated medical interventions. Instead, they are small but consistent changes in what you eat, how you move, and how you rest. Each one has been tested in studies and proven to lower inflammatory markers in the blood. Think of them as practical tools you can use every single day. Let us go through them one by one, and by the end of this video, you will have a clear roadmap to reduce inflammation naturally after 60.